Hello guys, welcome back. This is Musings by Nikki. I am Nikki. I'm going to start this video by saying, if you don't have a cup of coffee or tea or something, go ahead, go pour yourself a glass of lemonade, iced tea, coffee, whatever. It's going to be a long video because let me show you why. This thing is massive. This is a massive journal. It's a custom thing for T, who sent me a bunch of stuff that she wanted me to include in a journal. And by the time I had gone through all of it, and tried to include it in bits and pieces and whatever, this is the massive thing that I got. Before I sit down, let me show you a couple things. This is the front cover. It says Fragments of the Soul right on there. Then this, I tried doing a curved spine and it looked goofy because this thing is huge. So I tried several different new things this time. Here is not a hidden seam or not hidden binding, but I've seen other people do this. So I just sewed a whole bunch of little charms and buttons and things on the outside. Here's the back, this lovely lace that I love. And then along the side, let's see, maybe I'll take you down here with me for a second. Come along with me. Here along the side, it closes with two clips like this. And on this side, oh my gosh, and this lovely batik fabric that I found. And you're just not going to be able to see how awesome it is. In person, it's super cool. Love it. So anyway, on here, in between there are some little charms. So here's one with a couple beads and a little T on it. There are leaves. This is a little clock, some more leaves, and then this last little charm has a piece of jewelry bling and then a couple of little faceted beads here. Catch the light really pretty. So that's how it closes. It just clips and opens up. So let's put you, sorry if I'm making you seasick. Here we go. Back up here. All right. So let me sit down. Let's take a sip of our drink. All right. And let's take a look at this. So like I said, look at this thing. It's huge. There are bits and pieces all through here, and I'll point them out, that are from her. And inspiration, a lot of inspiration in here from Gail, I believe it's Agostinelli, Gail Agostinelli, Tracy Fox, and Gibbet. And so thank you, ladies, you're magnificent. And so there's a lot of inspiration from them in here as well. So with this, the first thing that's in here is Gail. In behind this belly band, and this is some lace trim that she had sent me here, is a trifold envelope. And inside each one there's a little card divider card in there. And then in each pocket on the back side, there's a tag that has some collaging on one side and then some pieces of ephemera on the other side that she had sent. So this is some old payroll record. And inside the next one, more collaging, and then a library permit, and it looks like a pass from a school, similar to the passes that we use today. And the back one, another card, and some more like employer tax statement stuff. So that tucks in here. And I'm not going to tuck it back in right now. We'll just set it over there. Then this pocket, so this first signature is actually this big pocket, and it was this huge divider card thing that she had sent. So here it is. I made it into a folder. There's a quote on here about kindness. So T had said that laughter, family, and kindness were some words that were important to her. So I had kind of included some quotes throughout, and you'll see those as we go. This opens up. On the flap, there is part of a map of Oregon, and there are several chunks of it throughout here, and I'll show you those as we go. She lives in Washington, out on the West Coast, but a lot of the ephemera in here is from Oregon, so I have included some pieces of Oregon map. And in here, there's this little fold out, and it's got acorns and ferns and daisies, and you could write on the back side. That's on this glassine pocket, and inside here is a little notebook with some of the papers that she sent, some old writing paper. And inside this pocket is Smokey the Bear. This is a really cute little ephemera. I love on the back that there's check off school days till next vacation. That's hilarious because we totally do that at school. We have a countdown on my whiteboard. On the back of that it says, there is beauty and simplicity, on this little placard. This is a really old land deed, and it was super long, and so I've included it, but I had to reinforce it with washi along here because it's very fragile and wants to rip. So it's really cool though. And so on the bottom part I made a pocket with, oh, these are joke cards. So because laughter is something that's important to her, I made a bunch of journaling cards with just kind of corny jokes on the back sides of them, and so you'll see them throughout the whole book, but like the corny jokes, like, what did the traffic light say to the car? Don't look, I'm about to change. I probably think all of these are, I've read all of them and laughed out loud at a few of them, and I probably think they're funnier than I should, but anyways, so that's a pocket. Here's the part of the deed, and then when you flip that over, the other side makes a pocket. This is some paper that she sent me. And then this trim, you'll see several places in the book, and it's actually part of a paper towel that she sent me, an old one, and I sliced up some of it and made trim out of it, so that's what that is. Then there's this cool punch tin card, and on the back is part of some ephemera that she sent, like a statement piece. This is a little time record. It folds out and you can fold it back in. On the back side there is a tuck spot and a little notes card, and you could write on both of those. And then this is part of a book page. With the stuff that she sent me, she pretty much said I had carte blanche to do whatever I wanted with it. The only exception to that was a few book pages where she said this side visible. So this was one of those where she wanted this side visible. So it is backed on this folder that in here. So this curious little chipmunk guy. And then that's the back part of it. So it all folds up into the file folder here, and it closes back up. And on the back side of it is this little mini file folder she sent. So I aged it up, put some ferns and collaging on the front, and inside of it I said, think of all the beauty still left around you and be happy. And I love that quote from Anne Frank, think of all the beauty that's still around you. This next one, so this is the second time I've shot this video. I won't go into it, but anyway, this next one, and the first video didn't show up very well, so I'm gonna raise it up and move it around, and hopefully you're able to see this. It's this wallpaper sample book that I totally forgot I had until I refound it recently. And it has these samples of wallpaper that have these gorgeous like skeleton leaves that have been kind of brushed with some gold and then pasted onto. I mean, this is wallpaper. Can you imagine? That'd be awesome on a wall somewhere. But so, and it's really tactile. You can feel the leaves. It's really cool. So I've included that. And on the back side of it, there's just some collaging here. She likes clocks, so here is just a vintage clock piece of paper with some tatting and a journal card that has some clocks on it. This is a piece that she sent me, Sears and Roebuck. It's like an order form. It's like an order form. This is a quote from Thoreau. There's just some digital stamping and laces and trims along the edges of things. Here's a bingo card that she sent me. So I dressed it up, jazzed it up with some papers and buttons and threads, and it's just clipped up top to this page. This folding piece here is another deed that she sent. So again, deeds, like homeowner paperwork, is super long. So I've included it sideways and kind of folded it to make some different elements again. So the bottom part here actually forms a pocket with some jokes in it. And then that closes, and this opens, and here's the top part, and then the very top is folded over and forms another pocket. And there's an inventory tag that I collaged with some leaf trim and some lace she sent and a clock. So it's an inventory tag, and that goes inside, and that closes. And these are just some journaling pages on parchment. And again, this is a really fragile piece of paper. So to protect it, I kind of made a flap to keep it in place. And on this, there is a library pocket and checkout card from the North Ohm Library. Thanks, Mom, again. And it was in the section Food Wild Edible. So I included that little tag down here, and it's called Stalking the Wild Asparagus. Look, nobody ever checked that out. I wonder why. Stalking the Wild Asparagus. Funny. So when that whole thing folds over, there's a quote here about kindness. A little watercolor flower that I painted a while ago and cut out and put in here. Some other flowers that I've fussy cut. This is a little woven California poppy. It's a little woven flower. I don't even know what to call it. Just a little ephemera that she had sent. So I attached that to this, and I did some collaging with some jute and some of the lace that she sent me. And it's actually a paper clip, an altered paper clip, so you could take that on and off. There's the back side of that. This is a Tracy Fox tag. This is part of, okay, this is part of another one of those giant, so there was this giant thing here, right? And this is part of that, another one that I cut down and made tags out of. And so here is part of some. This is like a warranty registration card. So this is the filling it out part, but this was attached to it as well. And you check which thing you bought, but I thought it's funny because one of the things is the screaming skull and the sonic cobra, a wiggling fish, a wiggling hand, a beating heart. I don't know what kind of warranty that was. But anyway, inside the pocket is this Cat in the Hat card that she sent as well. So that's tucked in there. And this whole thing is there. Here's another kindness quote. The other half of that Sears and Roebuck order form. Here is another pocket with some clock paper. This is paper that she sent me, I think it's from the 70s. Some tatting and a button and some vintage music and some lace. And then the back side of that beautiful leaf wallpaper sample. She also likes arrows, so I have some arrow papers in here. This is just some coffee stained muslin trim. This is some like waxed butcher paper with checks on it that she sent, so I backed that. And then this cool brownie ice cream sandwich bag ephemera that she sent became a pocket. And inside of it is, this is like one of those envelopes that you would use to send your 35mm camera roll in, and you'd send it in the mail to get it developed. So this was the little envelope that you would do that, and I just collaged on the back of it. And then she also, and you'll see this in various places, she sent some of this like flowery, it's almost like a iron-on trim. So that's in several places. So here it is right here. And then this opens up because you used to tear this piece off. So it flips down, and here's a little notebook. And then she sent little glassine envelopes and some tickets. So there they are. And then this envelope she sent. So I made a little tag to go in there. And then inside the whole big thing is a ticket for, I believe this would be the streetcar in 1945. And the cool thing is It is from the Minneapolis Savings and Loan. So, or it advertises on the back, the Minneapolis Savings and Loan. This is from the Harriet streetcar, which is something that my grandparents used to take. Kind of cool. So that's inside of this whole thing, which goes inside of this thing. Keep on moving. Here is another piece of ephemera that she sent. It's this big, kind of like a ledger sheet, and it had some writing down here that I wanted to keep. So I made it into a pocket with some book pages, put a clock on here and an arrow. This is more of that paper towel trim on the bottom. And then these are from, this for sure. This one I don't remember. This one's from this gorgeous Zoe Toefield kit, which I was gonna use more of in here, but it just got too full, so sorry. You'll see it in an upcoming video though, or journal, because it's gorgeous. I love her kits, and especially this one I love. So on the back side, here are some tickets that she sent. I turned them into a tuck spot and more joke card. Here is a page from a book that she wanted on this side up, and it's from Little Black Sambo book, and there's another page from a different version of it later on in here. And this is a giant piece of ledger, so it's in here folded over, and you'll see more pockets out of it there. Oh, I forgot to retie this from earlier when I filmed this the first time. Anyway, this goes around and ties up. But when you untie it, this is another thing she sent. So it's like the number you'd put on if you were running a race, or like if your horse was being shown or something like that, that's the tag. So I folded it up and made a little envelope out of it, or folder. And there's just some collaging down here, and then a collage tag that I made that says you can never have too much happy, and that is just collaged and sewn napkins and stuff. Then in this pocket there are some pages about some different trees and flowers from those old vintage 1940s tree garden books. And then there's a little squirrels card. So that all goes together in this pocket. And here's some more of that trim she sent. And since she lives out on the West Coast, I have this old vintage children's atlas. So I found one that said Roots to the West, and it goes up to Oregon and Washington area here. So talks about it on the back. Tuck that book page in here. Here's the other side of that massive ledger. So here's some Gibbed, and I think it's Gibbed. Well, I think Tracy Fox did them too. Oh, I can't keep track. I watch so many videos. But this is like coffee stained tracing paper on here. And then I stamped on it and cut it out, die cut it, and made a tag. And it says, replace fear of the unknown with curiosity. So thank you, ladies, for inspiration. Here is another jokes journaling card. And here's an altered playing card with a cute little owl on the back, because you know I love owls. Always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder. So that's in there. That all folds in. Here's a little Tim Holtz girl, and I put some butterfly wings behind her, and she's on this tracing paper pocket with some trim that T sent. And then inside there is another one of those pockets with the see-through tracing paper. And this one has kind of like a henna mandala with, I put some little gold accents on there. So that goes inside. Here is multiple stacked pockets page, and this is from Daphne's Diary. Cut that out, and it was a scrap that I had. Here's another, tucked into that, there's a little jokes card, and then this is from a Van Gogh. This is a Van Gogh painting from a book that I clipped it out of, and just tuck that in here. And then she sent this little card that says outdoor cooking, so that tucks in. And there's, the pages here have pine trees and leaves. And then in the biggest pocket, there's a big folder, and you could tuck something in there or not, because it's so full. You could just write in there as well. On the back side of that page, there's some tags that say family, a book page that says joy in the cottage, plant your roots, just some layering and some collaging. This is some more trim she sent. And then this is another little flip that she sent. So it put "I love us," and the quote says, "You don't choose your family, they are God's gift to you, as you are to them." And that's from Desmond Tutu. And I just sewed around those letters. That flips back up. Some cute pom-pom trim. This is another piece she sent. It was like the front of a greeting card or something. So I kind of cut it out and made it into a card, and I layered it with some different laces that she had sent me, gifted to me, and then I just stitched around the bunnies part. And that's just clipped on here with a Tim Holtz clip. On the back side of that clip, also clipped in, is a library pocket made out of an old card catalog card, and it has a tag in there and you can pull it out of the pocket. And this has got arrows. Here's a world map page. Here's a giant clock pocket. I found this giant round clock things. You've maybe seen them, the papers at Joann, and it was really cool. So there's a couple pieces of it here. And this one I tucked in. I didn't alter some of these because they're kind of just so cool, so I just tucked them in. This one is a fire calculation sheet. So that tucks into this pocket. This is another little Tim Holtz girl with butterfly wings, and she's in this little frame. This is some very old paper. Again, this was a very old one that was very fragile, and it was wanting to almost tear. So I backed it on some coffee stain paper just to protect it. And it's advertising, I believe, maybe it's actually the dresses, but it's either the patterns to make them or it's the actual thing. But they're comfortable clothes for farm, factory, and home. Here's another piece of that big clock with a hand and some arrows. When you open that up, it opens up, and inside here, this, I was showing my husband this because he works on computers, and I just thought this was funny. You know, you age yourself if you know what this actually is, but it's the pocket from like an old floppy disk, when they were the old actual like big floppies, and they were actually floppy. So this is a pocket from one of those. From Oregon, and tucked in there I've made this little wax seal, and it's an envelope that opens up. This is more Tracy Fox inspiration, and it flips open like this, and you can write in there, and then it folds back up, tucks back in, and the little wax seal goes over the top. This is another thing that she sent, a piece of ephemera warp orders. This flips up like this, and it's attached with these two brads. So that all folds back in. This is a beautiful, I'm thinking this is vintage, maybe greeting card or something that she sent. So I sewed it on and attached it to this pocket with some muslin and layered it, and makes a really big pocket. And then in there is some more jokes. What do lawyers wear to court? Lawsuits. Here's some more of that same lace that's on the back cover of this. I just love it. It's layered. It's really pretty. And this really gorgeous paper from Joann. Here are a couple of flips. So these flip out, but they have little tuck spots for these mini file cards. And then when they flip open, there are some mini file folders, and each one has a quote inside. So this one says, "Keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. No beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart." And then that closes. "Be open to whatever comes next. Take risks, choose to shine, stay curious, and be amazed." There we go. Okay, this, oh, I forgot to tuck this back in too. Okay, so pretender that that's in there. Anyway, this is one of my favorite things that she sent. This is a big airmail envelope, and it was really long, so it was too long to kind of include. So I tore it off, part of it here, and made it into a pocket so you could still see the address. I tore off the stamp and kind of layered some of the cancellation and stuff on. And on the flap on the back, she had written, "Be prepared, this is an angry young letter." It's funny. So here's the actual letter that's sewn in to the signature. And it's from this woman Jean, to Doug, her boyfriend, I think. And she's mad that he's said that if she doesn't find a way to move back to where he is, then they're going to break up or something. But the best part was, there was this, and then this at some point had been stapled and it said read second. So this is her saying, she's just like, why are you being like this? And then this part here says, can't we just please work it out? It's like her second thoughts. Anyway, it's funny. And I love, thank you T for sharing it with me, because I enjoyed reading this letter and putting this together. Oh my goodness. See, that's why I didn't put it in the first time. It's weird at this angle. So that's this. And then on the next page there is this little envelope, and it's like a ticket pack from the World's Fair in Seattle in 1962. And inside there's an old card catalog page, or card catalog card, excuse me, for living off the land. So that shows through the window, and it's clipped on with this arrow clip. Here is a lace pocket that I made, and it's got the T Tiger Lily card in there, a little journaling card for T. More of that beautiful paper that I love. This is a big yellow paper bag. It's clipped on. There's a piece of Edith Holden paper tucked inside of it. And then collaged on the front are a few different things. This is some paper she sent me. This is more vintage paper, so I use that to make this pocket. And if you watched my recent videos on the farm journals, you would have seen that I used a couple of these. So she gifted me a few, and then she sent me a few to put in this journal. And they're super cool. And they're dairy cooperative checks. So some things I didn't alter because they're just too cool. So I just stuck them back in here. And then this one as well, I didn't alter at all because I like both sides of it. It's just really cool. And it's a receipt for an insured parcel. So it's in this little tuck spot that says small contributions. So that's in a bag, and that's just stuck on. This is a tuck pocket. Another joke card. Here's some more of that Oregon map, and it's actually made into an envelope. And inside there's a little card with a butterfly. It says beautiful, and that closes again. Oregon map. Here is the other side of that really fragile paper with these women modeling their jaunty, durable work dresses and wares. So that's the other side of that, and it's just backed on this paper to protect it. There are a couple of pages from like a children's book about police. So I believe her sons, or a couple of her sons, are police officers, which is super awesome. Go police. And this is a page, and she wanted this side up, and I just made it into a pocket on this page, and on the back I said loyalty and strength, and put this big journaling card here. She could put pictures of them on there or whatever, journal. So there's that. This one was this is like a page from a children's book, and she said either side up, and I couldn't decide because I liked them both. And then when I figured this out, I was kind of proud of myself for a minute. I cut out the door, so it worked out that when you open it, you can see, oh, the other little squirrel on the other side. So you can see the squirrels on both sides. So there you go, you get the best of both worlds. And inside of their house, they have a little quote from Robert Frost that says, if we couldn't laugh, we would all go insane, which is so true. And that's on the front of this signature, which is another big pocket. And on this side of it, there are two clocks, and that's how these unwind. And the top flap of this is some Franken paper. It's kind of a top flap Franken paper. They're attached with a brad. The strings are attached with a brad down here. Inside this pocket, there's a short stubby file folder with another watercolor flower I did. And it says, shine like the whole universe is yours. And when you open it up, it's star paper. So that goes in here. And then you open this up, and inside this part, there's some more arrow paper. And there is a super cool ticket for Colonial Williamsburg, and it's like the thing where you go around and get them all punched. So she sent this as well, and it's tucked inside this pocket. It's really cool. And then these ladies are some more, you know, ladies wearing durable, sturdy slacks and overalls. And so here's the advertisement for that. I'm gonna cover this up right here because that has her last name on it. But this is an airmail envelope that she sent, and it says from Minneapolis, I wrote on there, which is where I am, to where she is, and then I did some stamping and some cancel stamping on there. There we go. Inside of there, because this is an airmail envelope, I included the map from that same cool atlas. Here's a map of Europe, and it talks about Europe on the back. And here's some of the children's writing paper she sent me. This is another piece that she sent. It's like a vehicle mileage sheet. And then this next piece folds out. And this is the school that I work at, and they were getting rid of some books, which of course, the minute anybody's getting rid of books, I jump all over and look at them. And took a few away, and it had one of them I was able to recover this pocket out of, which is super cool. And it's the pocket for that illustrated atlas that I showed you a page of. And then this is something she sent, which I think is super funny, because Hawaiian buttermilk float, that just sounds so gross to me. Yep. Golden flake. The word flake and buttermilk should not be in the same sentence. That's just gross. I don't know. Maybe you like buttermilk. If you do, I apologize. It's probably lovely for you. It's just gross to me. It's too thick. Here's the other side of that mileage thing. And then here, this opens up. I'm not going to go into all of these just for the sake of time, but she sent some of these really cute mini baby little glassine envelopes. She shared some with me and then some to put in here. Sent this, sent this. I said, let life surprise you. Here's more of that big folder that I cut up and a ticket to make a journaling card. There are little cards inside all of these. This flaps open, and there's a little card in there as well. It's a little envelope I made with a wax seal. That opens up, and then this all folds back over. And then here's some, this is paper she sent. This is fabric that she sent. This is the other side of these women looking lovely in their play and dress up outfits. Here is some ephemera, more of that warranty card. And then this is super cool. It's like a signal cards thing to learn the different flags of the Navy. So those go in there. And then T, this is something that I'm sharing with you, another old letter. And this is from a woman writing to her husband, lieutenant in the Army. And so this is old, from the 40s. And I'm sending you that. I'm not going to open it up because it's really fragile, but it's a really cool letter. So we'll tuck that in there. This is over, and I'm going to try and hide that. There we go. And then these close back around. There we go. Next signature. This is another piece she sent. This MLS paper right here. And it was too big, so I kind of cut it down and layered it up. And then I put a little key and a house because, you know, the multiple listing service. And in the little house pocket are a couple of jokes. And this forms a tab with a ticket that she sent me. Here is the K card because of initials. Here is a pocket that with some fabric that she sent. This goes over some trims here. These are from the Graphics Fairy, just some pretty moth cards. This paper says laughter, love, happiness. And there's a Shakespeare quote that says, with mirth and laughter, let old wrinkles come. So there's another laughter quote. This is a huge, and you'll see the other half of it, household monthly expenses paper. And I'm not going to pull this out because it's very fragile, but it's a receipt. That's another ephemera paper that she sent, and it's a receipt from a berry company. And so I kind of folded over the pages and made big pockets here. So this is one half of it. This is a big die cut that I made on my machine with a die and added some little bling. It's a bird and some flowers. It's very pretty. And I just backed it on some pattern paper and attached it. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but she didn't want a ton of journaling space. You're not seeing a ton of journaling space and things are glued on and attached everywhere. She didn't want a ton of journaling space. She said that she she just kind of reads these books, you know, just likes to flip through and maybe we'll add a few things, but kind of just enjoys having them full of stuff. That's why this is so huge and so full of stuff and very little journal space. So just so you know, this is an envelope attached with this cute little envelope paper clip. This is another piece of paper that she had sent and a clock that I attached. I just sewed and sewed around on here and collaged some. And here's another clock. This is an envelope from the Zoe Tofield kit. Then inside is just a little piece of writing paper that she sent as well. And that goes inside. And then this whole thing goes back over the edge of the page. And the cute little clip goes on. Here's some clock paper. Then this is a nice big pocket, 2 of them in a row here in the middle of the signature. And it has some houses on it and it says home sweet home. Family is important to her, as it is to me. And on the back it says we are family, and this paper talks about family. And tucked inside there is, with this cute little birdie clip, another piece of book page. And then some of these were so big and I was trying to figure out how to include them and still get the image and the writing, so it became interactive. So this pulls out like this. So here's Smokey the Bear and these kids at the fire, and then here's what he was actually, the writing from underneath there, the script. So it pulls out and then it just tucks back in. So now it's like interactive. And on the back there is some pine. And then I have these old, this is a vintage tree card, and it's talking about the Sitka spruce that only grows up on the west coast, like where she lives. So that goes there. And this cute little birdie goes back on here. And then they all go back in here. So there's that. And then inside this other side, half of the pocket, house plus love equals home. And inside here, I had intended to use some of these Zoe Tofield kit pages because they're just gorgeous. But you can see this thing is so full, so I didn't get a chance to do that. But they had these lovely fern images on there, and she had said that she liked ferns. And so I just included this as kind of a journaling space inside here. Here's another quote about kindness. You can accomplish by kindness what you cannot accomplish by force. I agree. Here is a mason jar with some die-cut flowers and a little button. Beautiful lace pocket here. I love this lace. It's very pretty. And this is an Edith Holden page that I collaged on and then turned it into a pocket and some tabbed writing things. And then this is the library checkout card from that atlas. This last time it was checked out was in '82. I can see why they're getting rid of it. It's not very accurate anymore. The atlas has changed. More of this pretty leaf paper here. Here's the other half of that household expenses form, and inside of this pocket is the payroll record and tax statement. So, you know, if you were doing your household record, you would want your pay information as well. Another big lace pocket, and this is another piece of that, the second giant folder that I cut out and made tags out of. It's very solid. There's some sari silk on top. This is some of the paper she sent. This is the legend from that Oregon map, and so I cut that out and put it on in the pocket, and it says go wherever anyone wishes. That all tucks in there. Here is that napkin that I was telling you about that you've seen the trims from. It was big, it folded out. So I sliced off some of the sides and used them to make the trims. And then this is the actual like part that was printed. So it's got, I sewed some of her, this is again more of that bias trim kind of stuff. I put that on the bottom. And then these are just some offcuts of some of the papers that she sent that I had used in other places. So I put them in here, and then this is the back side of that napkin. So all of it forms this little notebook. Here is my favorite jingly trim. This is, I think, a gibbet thing. That's Tim Holtz vellum, but you can kind of see the light through it. So it's kind of semi-transparent, and it's in the middle, a little window. This is another super cool, really huge. This is monthly registered disbursements, and it's this big, huge thing. You'll see another piece of it down here, but I sewed it in and made it into pockets. So I collaged on them, and each one has a tag that pulls out, and you could write on the back. So this one says mother, which she is, and it says my tribe. And home is the nicest word, thankful, grateful, blessed, and that's another tag. This is pocket, it says family, and it says stitched together, and I stitched on it, so you know. Oh, there's also, you've probably seen it through here, just some digital stamping, nothing super, just, you know, extra embellishment. Some cool lace. This was another card that she sent me with this pretty little like dress stamped on it. So I cut it down and made it a tag. This is some more of the material that she sent. So I sewed that on as the pocket, and some lace that she sent. And you could write on the back. And then in the pocket, there is some pretty blue vellum from Tim Holtz. It just matched really nice. And then this is an altered playing card, so she had sent this as well. Cute little boy and girl on there. And I altered the back, and it says be your beautiful self, and it's got a peacock on there and some sheet music. And the peacock is because she had left me a comment at some point in one of our Etsy conversations about that I should be strutting around like a pretty peacock, or a proud peacock. So I stuck a couple of peacocks in here because that comment just stuck with me. Here's some Franken paper that I made out of just different bits and pieces and offcuts of things. So here's some more of that Oregon map. This is some paper she sent. This is more of that wax paper. This little bit here, and you'll see more on the other side, is some more offcut from the big monthly distribute. And then I put a big clock here. This is from a map book as well. This is just some French ephemera that flips up, and there's some pretty flowers underneath there. This is that Tim Holtz wallpaper sample, which is just super cool. It feels cool. And I made a big pocket out of it. And in there, out of a vintage children's dictionary coloring book, I put the T page for you, T. So there's that. We'll stick that back in the pocket. And we're almost there. This was a giant book page, and it took me a while to figure out how to do this to keep the integrity of the visual, but then also the words were way down low. So I cut it down to keep the picture, and then I cut up the words, and so this is what it actually said down at the bottom of the page. And they're on now a little card that pulls out, and it's kept in by this kind of clip here, which is an altered paper clip on the other side. So that goes in that pocket. So here's what it actually says. And then this side is also a pocket, and it's got a big page of the joke stuff. And then here is some pretty green ribbon that kind of matched with this layout. So I like the way that turned out. I hope you do, T. Here's an altered paper clip that on the other side was keeping that thing in, that page in, with some of the tickets she sent, and a milk top that she sent. And I put some eyelash trim on there and stuff. It's a little mason jar. Here's another quote about laughter. There is nothing in the world so irresistibly contagious as laughter and good humor. Charles Dickens. I agree. More jokes. A little Tim Holtz vellum. Inside there is a dragonfly, almost like a bookmark journaling tag kind of thing, with some pretty yarn, and a little peacock on the side there again. digital stamping. Here's the other side of that Franken paper. So it has more of the fabric that she sent. This is she sent, this she sent, this little envelope she sent. I put these little chipmunk guys here because there's something about chipmunks. So there you go, T, more chipmunks. And inside this little vellum envelope that's kind of sewn shut says good times, and that makes a tab. And some pine tree paper, excuse me, on the back of that. We're almost there, guys. Oh, this was another one of the police storybook pages, and I couldn't figure out how to fit this one in because it was just slightly too big. So, more of that file folder I cut down. And then I did the same kind of thing here. I chopped up the words. So here's the image that was there. And then here are the little offcuts on the side, and it says he had a raincoat on, a big black shiny raincoat. So those were the words down under the image on the book page. And she wanted that side out, so it's out. There you go, and you can see the words still too. That goes in this little half page. That's the other part of that giant, multiple fold out thing, like the disbursements. This is a piece of lace that forms a tuck spot. This is another one of those Jibbid Tracy Fox see-through tags. I won't take it off. It says everything has beauty. And we are there. This beautiful bird on the back side. And this is the back page. There's my tag. I had clipped this out of a Daphne's diary a long time ago. It says, have a great day and see you soon. That intended to put it on the back of a book, and this seemed like a perfect place to do it. So, there it is. This thing. I have been tinkering and toying with this journal for a while. T, sorry it took so long, but I mean, labor of love, this guy was. I hope you love it, T. I will get it shipped off to you. And thank you guys for staying with me through this huge video. I won't talk that much more. I will see you soon. Hope the weather is lovely wherever you are. Hope you're enjoying your day. Stay blessed. God bless. Bye-bye, guys.